Inorganic contaminants. In the previous section, we discussed specialized inspections that may go beyond the standard home inspection, including chimney inspections, environmental inspections, and water quality testing. One of the primary reasons buyers may conduct water testing is to determine whether contaminants are present in the water supply. Among the most significant contaminants that may be detected in water testing are inorganic contaminants. Understanding these contaminants helps buyers evaluate potential health risks associated with a property's water supply. Inorganic contaminants are chemical compounds that generally do not contain carbon within their molecular structure. These substances may occur naturally in soil and rock formations, allowing them to dissolve into groundwater supplies. In addition to natural geological sources, inorganic contaminants may also enter water systems through human activities. For example, industrial runoff, agricultural practices, mining operations, and improper waste disposal can introduce inorganic contaminants into surface water and groundwater supplies. Because of the potential health risks associated with these contaminants, both state and federal agencies regulate drinking water quality. The Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, establishes standards for safe drinking water through the Safe Drinking Water Act. Public water systems must regularly test their water supplies to ensure that contaminant levels remain below regulated thresholds designed to protect public health. Exposure to inorganic contaminants at elevated levels can cause a range of health problems, including acute poisoning, organ damage, cancer, and developmental issues. As a result, monitoring and regulating these substances is an important part of maintaining safe drinking water systems. Several examples of inorganic contaminants that may appear in drinking water include asbestos, lead, copper, mercury, nitrates, and other naturally occurring minerals that dissolve into groundwater. One well-known example of an inorganic contaminant is asbestos. Due to the significant health risks associated with asbestos exposure, most uses of asbestos were banned in the United States by the Environmental Protection Agency in 1989. Before this ban, asbestos was widely used in a variety of construction materials and infrastructure components. For example, asbestos was frequently used in water pipe construction, sewage disposal systems, irrigation systems, roofing materials, and friction-resistant products such as automobile brake pads. Long-term exposure to asbestos fibers has been linked to serious illnesses, including lung cancer and mesothelioma. Unlike many other contaminants, asbestos fibers are non-biodegradable, meaning they do not break down easily in the environment. As a result, asbestos fibers can remain suspended in water sources for extended periods, sometimes lasting for decades. Because asbestos does not degrade naturally in aquatic environments, contamination may persist unless the affected infrastructure is replaced or treated. Lead, another important inorganic contaminant, is lead, which can pose serious health risks when present in drinking water. According to estimates from the Environmental Protection Agency, a relatively small percentage of public water systems in the United States have measurable levels of lead entering their distribution systems. Approximately 600 groundwater systems and about 215 surface water systems may occasionally have water leaving treatment facilities with lead levels exceeding 0.005 milligrams per liter. Even though these numbers represent a small percentage of the overall water supply, they still affect a portion of the population that relies on those systems for drinking water. In fact, the EPA estimates that less than 3% of people receiving water from public systems may be affected by elevated lead levels. Low-level exposure to lead can still cause significant health effects. Lead exposure may interfere with red blood cell chemistry and may also affect the nervous system. In infants and young children, lead exposure has been associated with delays in normal physical and mental development. Children exposed to lead may experience reduced attention spans, hearing problems, and learning difficulties. Adults exposed to lead may experience elevated blood pressure and other long-term health complications. Chronic exposure to lead has also been linked to kidney disease and certain forms of cancer. Unlike many contaminants that originate in natural water sources, lead is rarely found in untreated groundwater or surface water. Instead, lead typically enters drinking water through corrosion of plumbing materials within the distribution system or within individual homes. Homes constructed before 1986 are more likely to contain lead pipes, plumbing fixtures, or lead-based solder used to connect copper pipes. However, even newer homes may contain plumbing components that include small amounts of lead. Under federal regulations, plumbing materials labeled as lead-free may still contain trace amounts of lead within allowable limits. For example, certain brass or chrome-plated brass fixtures may release small amounts of lead into the water supply. Lead contamination can become more pronounced when hot water flows through plumbing fixtures, as heat may accelerate corrosion or leaching from metal components. Exposure to lead is particularly dangerous for children and pets because their developing nervous systems are more vulnerable to toxic substances. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, lead poisoning remains one of the most preventable environmental diseases affecting children in the United States. The EPA estimates that 10 to 20% of human lead exposure may come from drinking water. In some cases, infants who consume formula mixed with tap water may receive 40 to 60% of their total lead exposure from drinking water. For this reason, buyers purchasing homes with older plumbing systems may wish to conduct water quality testing or plumbing inspections to determine whether lead contamination may be present. Understanding these potential risks helps buyers make informed decisions about property conditions and may encourage further investigation when necessary. Online discussion. Why are inorganic contaminants considered a concern in drinking water systems? Answer. Inorganic contaminants may cause serious health problems including poisoning, cancer, organ damage, and developmental issues. Because of these risks, government agencies regulate the amount of these contaminants allowed in public drinking water systems. Why can lead contamination occur even when water leaving the treatment plant is safe? Answer. Lead contamination often occurs through corrosion of plumbing materials within water distribution systems or inside homes, rather than from the original water source. Why are infants and children particularly vulnerable to lead exposure? Answer. Lead exposure can interfere with the development of the nervous system in young children, potentially causing learning disabilities, attention problems, and developmental delays.